Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a CaitVi Listener by me. I have a physics final tomorrow, so wish me luck. Again, without further ado, let's get into it. The tension in the air was suffocating as you moved through the dimly lit alleyways of Son. Your steps were hurried, your heart pounding against your ribcage, as a nagging sense of unease followed you like a shadow. The streets were quieter than usual, the faint hum of machinery and distant voices offering little comfort. Ever since your meeting with Cassandra Kierman, you couldn't shake the feeling that you were being watched. You glanced over your shoulder, for what felt like the 100th time, but the alley behind you was empty. Still, the prickling sensation at the back of your neck persisted. Relax. She wouldn't actually do anything, right? You muttered to yourself, trying to shake off the paranoia. But the memory of Cassandra's cold, calculating eyes and the venom in her words, when you refused her a bribe, told you otherwise. Caitlyn and Vi had been furious when they found out about the conversation, and they had insisted on sticking close to you ever since. But tonight, you had managed to slip out for some air, not wanting to add to their already mounting stress. And right now, you weren't so sure that it had been a good idea. Perhaps you should have remained with them. And the moment you turned the next corner, your fears were confirmed. A figure emerged from the shadows, blocking your path. He was tall and broad-shouldered, his face obscured by the hood of his cloak. But the glint of a weapon in his hand made his intentions clear.
Mayan, right? Lady Kierman sends her regards,
The man said, his voice low and menacing. Her blood ran cold. This was Cassandra's doing, and before you could react, the man lunged at you, and you barely dodged his initial attack, your instincts kicking in as you scrambled to put distance between you. "Stay away from me," you shouted, your voice trembling, and the man smirked, advancing slowly.
"You should have taken the money,"
he said, twirling his blade in a mocking gesture.
"Would have saved us all a lot of trouble."
You backed into the alley wall, your heart racing as you realized there was nowhere left to run. There was nothing you could do. And just as the man raised his blade, ready to strike, a blur of colors shot past you.
"Touch them and I'll make sure you regret it,"
Vi growled, stepping between you and the man. Her fists were clenched, her gauntlets gleaming menacingly. Her eyes burned with fury, a stark contrast to the cold smirk on her face. And the man hesitated for a moment, sizing her up.
"This isn't your fight. Get out of here."
"Actually, it is. It's my fight when you're messing with my partner." Vi snapped, her voice dripping with venom. She lunged forward, without waiting for him to respond, her gauntlets colliding with his weapon in a clash of metal. "Wayan, are you hurt?" Caitlyn's voice called out, and you turned just to see her running toward you, her rifle already in her hands. She slid to a stop beside you, her sharp blue eyes scanning you for injuries. "I'm fine. He didn't get to me," you said, although you were barely keeping it together if you were to be honest. Caitlyn's gaze flicked to Vi, who, with a swift uppercut, sent the man crashing to the ground, his weapon skidding out of reach. Vi stood over him, breathing heavily, but victorious.
"Guess Cassandra didn't tell you who you were messing with. Big mistake,"
she said, and the man groaned, trying to push himself up, but Caitlyn was already there, her rifle trained on him, as she stepped on his chest with her boot.
"Don't move, or the next shot won't miss."
The man froze, Realizing he was outmatched, Vi stepped closer, grabbing him by the collar and lifting him effortlessly.
Tell Cassandra if she ever tries something like this again, I'll make sure she regrets it.
She snarled, her voice low and dangerous, and he nodded frantically, fear etched into his features. Vi shoved him away, watching as he scrambled to his feet and disappeared into the shadows. And once he was gone, Vi turned back to you, her expression softening as she took in your shaken form.
Babe, are you okay?
She asked, and her voice was filled with concern. You nodded, and although you tried your best to be composed, you could feel the tears pricking at the corner of your eyes. I am fine, really, he whispered, but it was very clear that you were not. Thank you, both of you. Caitlyn just sighed, lowering her rifle, and stepped closer to you, cupping your face gently in her hands. You scared us, Ryan. You should have told us you were going out. God, I should have known.
I know my mother. I know she was going to do something. I just never thought. I never thought it would be like this.
Vi cut you both off, pulling you into her arms.
Doesn't matter, Kate. Don't start blaming yourself. It's not the time for that. And it's not your fault either. Both of you are okay. That's all that matters to me right now. That's all that should matter. And as for your mom, we'll deal with her. But don't blame yourself, Kate.
Caitlyn sighed, bringing her arms to wrap around both you and Vi.
I suppose you're right. We'll deal with my mother. I'll make sure that she won't get away with this,
she said firmly, her tone leaving no room for argument, and he nodded, the warmth of their embrace chasing away the lingering fear. And despite everything that just happened, you felt safe. With Caitlyn and Vi by your side, he knew you could face anything, even Cassandra Kierman's worst.